Who are they? And how do they shape your life? Watch till the end to find out. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's reality. And today, we'll uncover the truth about the 1% who control the world. Imagine a world where the decisions that shape your life, your money, your future, your freedom are made in rooms you will never enter. 1% control the world. This phrase suggests that a very small fraction of the global population holds the majority of the wealth, power, and influence. This 1% often refers to the ultra-rich and powerful individuals or groups who control major corporations, resources, and political systems. These elites can shape decisions that affect the economy, social policies, and even international relations, often without public input. They are seen as having control over the systems that impact our daily lives. The potential impact of awareness. If the 90% of people gain awareness of the structures that the 1% use to maintain power, they might start to see the world differently, leading to increased critical thinking. People may question decisions, policies, and media messages that seem to favor a small group over the common good. Demand for fairer systems. The 90% could push for reforms in economic, political, and social structures to create more equality and opportunity. Collective action. When people share a common understanding, they're more likely to work together toward change. This could mean more community organizing, support for grassroots movements, or even large-scale social change. 4% are puppets. The 4% represents those who directly support or work for the 1% in enforcing their agenda. This group could include high-level politicians, executives, and influential figures who benefit from the 1% and, in turn, support them. They act as intermediaries or puppets who help carry out the wishes of the 1%, sometimes with personal gain in mind. Their actions may sometimes go against the public's best interests. Not everyone opposes these structures for the same reasons, and some might not feel directly affected by them, especially if they feel economically stable. Others may not fully understand the complexities involved or might believe the system is fair. However, as awareness grows, particularly through education and information sharing, more people are questioning these dynamics and advocating for change. 90% are asleep. The 90% refers to the majority of people in the world who may be unaware of these power structures or are not actively questioning them. They are asleep in the sense that they may be more focused on their immediate daily lives without recognizing the broader forces that influence society. This group often accepts things as they are without questioning, possibly due to a lack of awareness, interest, or access to information. Methods the 1% use to keep the 90% asleep. To prevent the majority from waking up, the 1% might use a few strategies. Control of information. By influencing the media, educational content, and other sources of information, the 1% can shape public perception. If people only see one perspective, they're less likely to question it. Distractions, entertainment, consumerism, and constant engagement with social media can keep people focused on daily distractions rather than bigger social or political issues. Division. Dividing people by race, religion, class, or ideology can weaken unity. When people are focused on fighting each other, they're less likely to unite against the power structure. Economic pressures. Keeping wages low, for example, or creating economic instability can make people feel insecure, focused on survival, and less able to challenge the system. 5% know what is going on and are trying to wake up the 90%. This 5% represents people who are aware of the influence of the 1% and how it impacts the majority. They might understand how systems can be manipulated to favor the wealthy or powerful. This group actively tries to raise awareness among the 90%, hoping to inspire them to question, learn, and take action to create positive change in society. The role of the 5% in creating change. The 5% who are awake play an essential role in bridging the gap between the elite and the majority. Their actions often include education and awareness campaigns. These can take many forms, from documentaries, social media, articles, and books to public events and workshops. Advocacy for transparency. They might push for open and transparent systems that expose hidden or unfair practices. Building communities and support networks. By creating spaces for dialogue, support, and collective action, the 5% can empower people to feel less isolated and more motivated to engage. The 1% don't want the 5% waking up the 90%. Here, the idea is that the 1% fear the influence of the 5% because if the 90% gain awareness, they might collectively challenge the status quo. By keeping the 90% unaware or asleep, the 1% maintain control without resistance. The 1% may use media, distractions, or other strategies to keep people from questioning the existing structures. Challenges the 5% face: opposition and suppression. The 1% may resist these efforts, sometimes with strong pushback. Activists, journalists, or whistleblowers who challenge powerful interests may face legal, financial, or personal risks. Complexity of systems. The systems that keep the 1% in power are complex, making it challenging to convey to the 90% in simple terms or easy solutions. Limited reach and resources. Often, the 5% have fewer resources than the 1%, making it hard to spread their message widely or create large-scale change. The ideas about the power dynamics described in the 1% versus 90% concept come from a combination of economic research, sociological studies, historical patterns, and observations of political and media behavior. Here's how we understand these dynamics and some insight into how many people might be against it. In essence, this perspective highlights an imbalance of power where a small elite controls much of society while a large majority is unaware or passive. A small group, the 5%, seeks to spread awareness, but the powerful few, the 1%, resist this, as an awakened majority could shift the balance of power. A large and growing segment of the population appears to be opposed to the current power structures. The exact numbers vary by region, but as economic pressures increase and more people become aware of wealth inequality, resistance tends to grow. The more accessible information becomes, the more likely it is that people will unite in their understanding and push for a fairer, more balanced system. This dynamic speaks to the importance of awareness, critical thinking, and collective action. When more people understand and question the world around them, they're better able to make informed decisions about their lives and society. It's a call for each person to be more aware, ask questions, and support positive change, creating a more balanced, just, and inclusive world for everyone.